I swear to God, Twitch, you need to fix your shit because this is not on my end. Not sure. Twitch, Twitch, Twitch. Why? Why? Error code, Twitch machine gonna block. Look, Twitch, if you can't even keep the fucking stream running for an hour, the fuck is your server? So I'm switching to fucking... What's it called? Hitbox? It says we're still... Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, my OBS is telling me that we're still streaming. Now, I don't know if OBS is lying to me. Usually it doesn't, but Twitch definitely does. So, Twitch is telling me that the whole thing fucked up again. Did Twitch just shit the bed again? Are we back up? Oh, okay. So you guys can then see me. Alright. I can only see the Twitch machine unplugged. Okay, well, my apologies for the inconvenience. This isn't on my end. I can't fix this. Okay, well, my apologies for the inconvenience. Alright, well... this isn't on my end. I can't fix this. Okay, I think we're back. I had to refresh. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, refresh the page. It should be back. I'm going to refresh it again, so I'm going to lose chat again. I had to refresh. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, refresh the page. It should be back. Alright. We're back. Again, I'm sorry, but I've got no control over this. This is Twitch shitting the bed again. This is twice in 1 hour. Why is Twitch so bad? Seriously, it has been getting substantially worse. Like, I'm not saying this from my experience because I haven't been streaming a lot, but other people that I know that have been streaming have been telling me the same thing. And they've been saying the same thing for a while now. This has just been getting progressively worse. Okay, so as I was saying, Tiberium Wars CNC3 was definitely one of the most graphically impressive games of all time. At least for the time it was released in. It was so far ahead of everything else, it was amazing. Now, the story was a little lackluster. It definitely wasn't a masterpiece. Gameplay was solid. In fact, there's still a pro scene, hobby scene, but people that are sickly good at the game, like very good at the game. They're still going with game range and stuff. They're still having an online community and all that. That's how good it was. It's worth keeping alive. Maybe they even will remaster that. I mean, that would be... It's not the first game to be remastered, probably. It's not the first on the list, since, you know... it's still good to go right now. But then again, so are half the other games that in the CNC series. Who knows, maybe they'll even remaster things like Generals. Wow, imagine a remade Command and Conquer Generals. That would be something. I'd try that. Unlock the GLA faction for just $19.99. Fuck. Right, music. Yep, we're back. If through a Viscount and SSD, would I lag out of existence? Or should I be good? Well, a really good PC is not necessarily good. Okay, that's a little bit too loud. I can't hear myself talk. A good PC isn't necessarily going to help you because the game bottlenecks around the game engine. Since the game engine is really old and not quite all that great. So you can run the most godly PC known to man, and if your system is configured like a certain way, then you're still going to have issues. The best thing that can be done to improve the game experience is simply for me as a mod maker to do things like this to optimize the game as well as I can. Now there are still a couple of like death combinations that will just not run the game. And with death combinations I mean like a certain rig, like maybe a certain combination of CPU plus motherboard plus graphics card, that if you have that combination along with those drivers, your game is simply going to crap out at literally every point, and there's nothing that I can do to fix that, or you, for example, for that matter. The only things that you can do is the things that I basically advise every time, which is try a couple of compatibility modes, try a couple of different settings for that, run as administrator. The 4GB patch, of course, if you're not running the Steam version of the game. Hell, some people have even reported that applying the 4GB patch to the Steam version, which already was patched by Petroglyph to have the 4GB patch, that improves it for them. So I just make the mod, okay? I'm not into this whole computer bullshit. I don't do this. This is not my thing. I simply make the mod. And it's not like I am completely computer illiterate, like I know how to build a PC. But this is literally such a gargantuan shit show that there is no tracking it. There is no tracking it. There are a couple of community members in the modding community that are like exceptionally tech savvy. That might be able to help, but those are like the Age of the Rebellion guys. Trust me, they're not gonna have time for this shit. Anyway, back to your actual question, let me answer that. You should be fine. Usually SSDs are actually an increase in performance, since a single Superstar Destroyer is less lag intensive than having, for example, a fleet of 10 Star Destroyers. But yeah, I think, don't quote me on this, I think the best setup you could have to run the game is actually an i5 or 3, depending. What you need is single core speed on your CPU, single core speed, because the game only uses one core. So you want that core to be running as fast as it can. Usually an i7 or something has slightly lower core speed and just has more cores, which the game can't use. So if you got an i7 like me, you're kind of shit out of luck. But I can still run the game properly, so, you know. You'll also probably want a slightly older operating system. I like Windows 7 myself. I run Windows 10 myself, and the game again runs fine for me, but, you know, if you want the optimal setup, you probably want to run it on Windows 7. I don't know, you can just try setting up a virtual machine or something and try some stuff. Again, none of that is required. None of that is required. This is just if you really like want to min-max the whole thing, then that is probably what you want to do. But again, that is not necessary to run the game, run the mod. Once we get to remove this, and then we select the vertexes and remove all of that, then the poly count's gonna like half. It's gonna be great. Well, probably not half, but it's gonna remove at least a good third. A very, very solid third. Hello, welcome to the stream. Thanks for doing all the optimization. Don't mention it. Trust me, it's in my best interest too, because I get less reports like, oh, I only get 10 FPS, and I only have 1 starbase on the screen. Why do you do this to me? I get those quite a lot, so. And it's not even my fault, there's nothing I can do. You just get bombarded with these comments, you know? Every day. It doesn't stop. It never stops. Never. Music is a bit too loud. Oh, we can turn it down. Oh, this is a more quiet track, so it's okay for now. DR4. Yeah, again, you should just be able to run the mod. But the game engine simply wasn't designed for the shit that we're trying to put it through. Like, it really wasn't. Like, take a second to think back to the things that were in Vanilla Forces of Corruption, and then think what we're making it do. Like, run all these high poly model, well, medium poly models, and hundreds upon hundreds of starfighters. Let me put it this way, there is no reason why the game engine should not be able to run what we are putting it through, but it wasn't built to do it. And so you occasionally run into some issues with it. Major one, of course, still fighters. I still have to somewhat like go back and edit fighter squadrons to only have 5 fighters per squadron. But that, since that literally takes away a 1/6 of all the health, damage, like everything that fighters have, you literally take a 1/6 of the effectiveness of fighters away from them. So that does require a bit of a rebalance. And I simply haven't gotten around to that. Of course, it also removes a 1/6 of the lag that fighters produce, but you know. Balance is quite important as well. I mean, you can have a broken piece of shit that runs amazingly well, but I'd rather have something that is playable. Okay, this should be all the edges selected. So now we remove this, and now we get the fast part, because now we only have to select vertices. Let's see, is this the only one there is? With the indent, because this indentation here, as we showed on the one right there, it has to be edited slightly. Like this has to go down slightly. But if we only have to do that for one, it's not that bad. So I'm just gonna quickly check to see if this is the only one with an indentation. Should be. Excellent. Right, let's just remove the ribs first. Well, just keep in mind that that is the only one that has this. And now we get to the fast section, which you simply select all the vertices and then remove them. Now that's done in like... That's just done very fast. I'm not gonna put a time on it. Oh look, there is a symbol. This is then also the only blister that has to be interesting. I mean, I don't mind. I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. Less work for me, but it's nice to have a couple of variations. I see you got through the optimization process. As you can see, this goes a lot faster than the edge selecting thing. Save, always be saving. Saving is important. Luckily, 3ds Max, and I think I mentioned this previously on the stream, 3ds Max does have an anti-idiot feature, which is called Auto Back, which automatically saves whatever work you're working on, whichever file you're working on, every about 5 minutes, I think it is. So that even if you do lose your work to a crash or something, you don't permanently lose everything, which is extraordinarily convenient, let me tell you. Like, just the peace of mind knowing that even if 3ds shits the bed and doesn't change the sheets and then makes you lose all your work, you don't actually lose it all. That's so good. Mind you, that's absolutely mandatory in a program like this, because otherwise no one would use it, but it's still good to have it anyway. You know, if we remove that, we get a lot more FPS in 3ds Max. I don't know why. Oh, that's so much smoother. Holy God. Can you see? I'm not sure if you guys can see the difference. This is way smoother than with the screen up. Oh my God, that is. Oh, suddenly I get my 144 FPS back. Whew. Thanks. That reminds me, guys, 144 Hz monitor? Worth it. I actually use a very fucking cheap one. This one was not very expensive. This is like the Walmart value of monitors. What I have. But I don't spend a lot of cash on my PC anyway, so that's just wasted money for me, I think. Well, it's not wasted money, but as a student, you don't have a lot of cash to throw around, so. Okay, that should be it. And now we go back to the poly thing and try count. And that's a sweet 1900. I mean, that's still a solid 25%. But that's not the thing that I was hoping for. In fact, not nearly. Are these, like, couple of bridge structures that we have truly that poly intensive? That they take up so much? Let's select them all. See how much it really is. I mean, they are quite poly intensive. But I'm not going to change them. What the hell is that? No, should probably remove that, because if we don't, I will forget about it. And then we have like this random Y-wing in the middle of the one. I can already see that. And then I'll notice it like 5 months down the line. I'm like, what the fuck is that spec? And then I'm like, oh my God, I shipped the mod with that thing, with that Y-wing. Okay, how bad is it? Wow! Oh my God, that is so bad! Do we rebuild the bridge parts then? Because that is just... I mean, that is literally 43 or 4,300 polys for the whole thing. Actually, how much is for the whole thing? Wow. So we have 5,300 for all these blisters, and then there are 5 bridges, which are 3,500. So I'm being hired to make the next Star Wars game. Well, nah, it's probably not gonna happen. But you know, maybe once I like finish my my study, if I go into the game industry, maybe. But then I wouldn't be in charge. I wouldn't be making the Star Wars game. So I'm sorry, guys, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I'd like to. You know, they're not gonna give like 23-year-old me creative control over the entire game. Like EA is not going to come to me like, hey, bro, you seem to be pretty good at this. How about you make your entire Star Wars game? We give you a team of like 50 people, and then you direct everything, including all the marketing. And then I would say, okay, so no DLC, no like microtransactions, all that bullshit. They're not gonna do it, right? I've got no idea what you're talking about with your issue with upgrading Palpatine and Darth Vader. Can you spell out what exactly your bug is? Super smooth, absolutely. Is that a Monka Cruiser? That it is, absolutely. It is the Viscount Starfender, which is a 19-kilometer long Mon Calamari dreadnought, which is basically designed to take on things like the Executor. Yeah, we're definitely reading the bridges. Yeah, well, I mean, this is the ship, right? That's the Eclipse. That's the Viscount, or at least it's going to become the Viscount. And these are the blisters with which we are going to populate the thing. That's an MC-80, like that. This is an MC-80, that's Home 1, and this is Jackass. No. That's an MC-80, that's Home 1, Eclipse, Viscount. And I'm afraid we're going to have to redo this, because this is just unacceptable. Which I don't really like. But I mean, whatever. We'll just fucking suck it up. Suck it up and do it, bud. Okay, so cylinder sphere. Could use a geosphere. Sphere's problem. Do we want to remake all the bridges? Obviously. I mean, we can roll with a solid 14. And we're not going to use a lot of bridges on this thing, remember. So they can be slightly higher in detail, especially since they're also going to draw quite a bit of attention. At least that's what I thought was going to happen. And then you see the actual Viscount. Let me put this here. And then you start panning around it, and then you're like, alright, so where's these bridges? Like, I can't see shit. Like, you have to really get in close to actually see. Like, okay, they stick out a little bit, but that's not a lot. For example, look at that. You can barely see them. These are actually the Home 1 bridge, by the way. Which is where I took them from. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the yawn. We're not allowed to be tired in the Dutchman's game. Especially not the Dutchman himself. Okay, so what if we change that back to 13? I love the bridge modifier when it works. But it so rarely works. I'm just not using it. Same with the Moline modifier. That seems like such a useful tool. And every time you get it to work, well, every time you get it to work, you still get 100 bugs in issues. But, well. It's not quite the golden egg that I hope. That I would hope that it is, sadly. But we can work with it. I mean, I'd rather have it anyway. And even though it is buggy, I still use it. just as little as possible. Okay, so rebuilding. I mean, this is fairly simple, right? This shit. Take that, then take it again, make it smaller. Push it over here. Default it, default it. Let's listen to something a little bit better. I'm gonna let you guys listen to that Hearthstone trailer thing that I was listening before this. Oh shit! I think I still have that video up, but that's okay. I should probably remove this. We're just gonna listen to it once, but it's so catchy. I love it. I'm also gonna shut up for it.
By earth, by air, rain and fire. The only things a real troll desire. Push to smash and to mash and to bash and maybe mangle. Here it's strangled. Thorn, you'll be warned. My Lord's gonna trash ya.
A few.
Say a prayer.
Haven't decided.
Time for fun, we're gonna run ya through. Too bad for you.
It's only once a generation.
One victor wins the confrontation.
Standing here, got no fear. I'm the best in the arena.
Man, you never seen a hero cut you down to zero.
Victory is no joke. Careful at your door.
Get your scar, it's our star is born. Here in Stranglehold.
Oh, the music is so catchy. It's terrible. So terribly catchy. It's funny, you just can't stop listening to it. There's not a jingle like this that I discovered a little bit ago. And it's from a game that I used to play a long, long time ago, back when I still played things like FPS games. It's from the original World at War, Call of Duty, World at War, that apparently nobody played. The zombie jiggle of the Der Riese map for zombies, the Pack-a-Punch machine, which is like catchy as fuck. The tune for the basically once you put your weapon in the machine, you like get an upgraded version back, and it's like way OP, and it's good for late game zombie stuff and such. I'm just gonna let you guys listen to it. It's so cheesy and dumb, but I love it. So stupid. Okay, I'm gonna put you through it, and then we lost all the viewers. So stereotypical as well. It's so bad, God.
Here, there, seems like everywhere. Nasty things are happening, and now everyone is scared. Old Jeb Brown, the blacksmith, he saw his mother die. A critter took a bite from her, and now she's in the sky. The angels came down to old Jeb and told him what to do.
Build yourself a great machine, it's what you'll see it through.
When you pack a bunch, the whole damn bunch will not last very long. And while you put yourself to work, sing a country western song.
Now, Jeb didn't know much about engineering, so he just put his trust in the angels and set to work. After many days and many nights, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears,
Should add something to
and
this.
help from the angels, of course, he was ready to show his machine to the whole damn town.
Friends, neighbors, ladies, gentlemen, if you're feeling underpowered, I'll help you make amends. Stick your weapon in the slot and let it change your luck.
Few things in life are guaranteed, but I promise this won't suck.
Punch your fist into the air and raise a rebel yell. There's lots of bad uns out there you need to send to hell. With Pack-a-Punch, I have a hunch your problems will be gone. But if you end up on the ground, sing a country western song. Pack-a-Punch, 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 Pack-a-Punch. Punch your fist into the air and raise a rebel yell. There's lots of bad uns out there you need to send to hell. With Pack-a-Punch, I have a hunch your problems will be gone. But if you end up on the ground, sing a country western song.
So cheesy. So cheesy, but so catchy. Goddamn, you'll get that stuck in your head if you don't watch out. How many hangars and how many fighters corners will it have? I have no idea, because I actually don't know how many hangars I want to put on the thing. I do know that I don't want the stereotypical, like, 500-meter long giga hangars that the original design had. Fun fact, the original design for the Viscount was actually not a 15-kilometer dreadnought. It was actually a 3-kilometer, like, battleship thing. So it wasn't actually supposed to be that massive, and those hangars were just regularly sized. But since everyone took that design to be the actual design for the Viscount, everyone sized up the hangars to ludicrous sizes. So now everybody thinks that the Viscount has these gargantuan fucking hangars that it never actually has. So, well, at least it looks a little more structurally stable. And I think we are going to add a little some to it. Oh, music. No one is going to ever see this. No one. Because no one is going to be able to see under these bridges. Actually, yeah, that's just, okay. But only one box. Only one box. I mean, that doesn't look... That's not great, let's be honest. But it looks better than completely flat, right? The problem with building such a large ship is that every time you pan on this area, there's this massive fucking fat space whale in the way of all your modeling. I know I said I was just going to add one box, but maybe a second one. See, just for a little bit of added complexity, right? Oh, that's the wrong edge. That is the right edge. We may as well make that run through all the way over there. See, guys, we're removing a box while adding a box. So the netto amount of boxes is the same. At least that's what it tells me. Right, so put that there, shut you out, and then move this out. Double click. Oh, of course, this does not line up with the thing. But we can fix that easily by simply taking this and then... Right, and now it's fixed. And now it should be... Yeah, now it's good. I still would like this to be a little bit... Right, now it looks a little bit more... stable? I mean, not really. I mean, if we wanted more stable, we'd do that. But that looks dumb, so... Why don't we just not do any of that and then go on, move. Why is it not moving? It's a... What is 3ds Max doing right now? Is this like crash incoming? I'll save, but usually when it starts doing weird shit, it like crashes within like literally 15 seconds after that. So, we'll just save and then proceed with the countdown. Proceed with the countdown. Okay. This is lower poly, but still just as effective. At least I'm almost 100% certain this is more poly effective. Let's have a look. My old teacher used to have a saying, which none of you are gonna understand because it's in Dutch. Meten is weten, which is basically measuring is knowing. That's not actually, well, how much is that? I guess it's better. Well, yeah, well, whatever. We'll just stick with it. It looks better too, so fuck it. Okay, next. 2 spheres, one smaller than the other. You know, I make him like this, but what this actually is saying is this. And then with a couple more sides. Does that have any advantage? Probably not. We'll try. It really isn't gonna have any advantage, but... I want at least 2 more. Take you, and then we'll have to bloody connect. Wait, what? If no, that doesn't matter, because we're not going to have a top side on this side, just on the top, because the bottom one, as you can see here, is actually inside of that one. So. Wish there was a faster way to do this. The bridge modifier is very useful for connecting edges like this and creating a face where previously there was none. That's useful for filling of holes, such as this, only it doesn't work with complex shapes. Or it does, and I simply haven't found a way to do it. Which is entirely possible. I mean, in terms of 3D modeling, I'm actually not all that skilled. I mean, I have a lot of experience with it, but I'm far from experienced enough to like know the entire program in and out. Awesome. Even despite doing this for years now. I want the emphasis on this whole thing to be in the front. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that, and then do that. And now it's inside. It does really like to go into the height, right? It does it everywhere. Oh, go on, attach it. Because that's what I tried to do. Okay, so this one is a little more flat than the others. Yeah, how about not having a line mesh in between them? You can just put that in there. If you put something under the bridge, I will screenshot it. If you put something under the bridge, I will screenshot it. I'm not sure what you're talking about, sorry. You could name it web. We in Germany have a saying, zweimal messen, einmal sagen. Yeah? That is a thing. By the way, I only know a couple of words German. I may be Dutch, and I live very, very, very near to the German border, but I mean, if you drop me in the middle of Germany, I will be able to find my way home. But it's gonna be a hurting situation, I'll tell you that right now. It's gonna be a hurting situation. You know what? I kinda like this thing as a shield generator. But we're not gonna have targetable shield generators because that will kind of defeat the purpose of the ship. So, oh, that's so powerless. An SSD without shield generators. Whew. And you literally have to actually just legit get through the shields. Oh god, wait. Didn't we have a whole problem with that last time? Like, how the hell are we going to make that happen? Because general... Can I sit like this and still... Yeah, okay, good. The problem with this whole bridge thing, and the, not the bridge thing, the whole shield generator thing, I'm not gonna explain it again. I'll just fucking do it in the code, and once it's all done, you'll get a nicely playing Viscount that can destroy the Executor, and blah blah blah. You know, you guys don't need to know all the technical shit. Trust me, that's not nearly as interesting as it appears to be. And it doesn't even appear to be very interesting. But I love it. That's why I love modding. I love building the system. I love doing that. I love managing systems and shit, like stats and bringing all the logistics together. I love doing it. Because I can do it. Oh, I'm good at it. I like doing it. Love managing logistics. And not in the sort of manager way, like, we're going to optimize the profit margins for this quarter. No, not that kind of managing. Like, I mean, actually making something work. Building something and... whatever, it's difficult to explain. Morrowind music. Love it. I do appreciate Morrowind music a lot. We're gonna put a little bit more variation in this than in the originals, because I think that will do it good. Hang on a second before we do that. Let's just spread that out. Spread it out. Yes, 100 please. Good, good. Really? That close together? How about that then? Nah. I'm slightly skeptical. A little bit closer. I like the sleekness of the design. So I should try to maintain that. So how about we stay just to the inside of that vertex? I mean, we could probably stick a little bit close to that. So I think the devil is really in the details with these things. Do you guys think 2 pillars looks better than this? I think it looks better. Okay. I do like the fact that this kind of connects, but I also think that it's kind of not very useful. And not very useful in the sense that that's just wasted polygons. Kind of like how I said that putting stuff underneath here was a waste of polygons, and then I went ahead and did it anyway. Speaking of which, too high. Thank you. Okay. Does that look too wonky? Too unattached? Like, just like 2 boxes sticking out? Because to me that kind of looks like 2 boxes sticking out. Well, 4, but yeah. 2 on each side. I mean, they very subtly added these on this thing to make that not the case, but... maybe they're just too wide. They're probably too wide. By the way, if you guys have some questions regarding the mod or maybe the design of the whole thing, maybe some balance questions or anything, then now is an excellent time to ask. Because I do like answering that sort of stuff on stream. So bombers will be my best friend against the star. No, definitely not. You definitely want a lot of straight up anti-shield damage. And I don't mean bomb... Oh, wait, yeah, actually, that kind of technically does it. But if you're just going to use shield penetrating weapons to take down this, you're gonna need a lot of bombers. I mean, you're almost better off just having a fuck ton of DPS. Just trying to punch through the shields with, like... I don't know, what the hell does the Empire... If we're talking about the Empire, what does the Empire have that really gets rid of this? Let's see. I mean, I almost just want to say Executor, but, you know, that kind of defeats the purpose. Ship stats. What do we have over here? That's downloads, that's the mod, that's music. Okay. Downloads can go. Let's see, what does the Empire really... I mean, in the Legions has a fuck ton of damage. Torpedo Sphere, that's it. Torpedo Sphere, of course. Why did I not think about that immediately? Torpedo Sphere will crack this thing wide open. Well, not 1 Torpedo Sphere, you're gonna need like 4, but, you know, it'll work eventually. Torpedo Spheres, absolutely. Because those are made to crack difficult targets. But those are also very, very expensive, so I'm not sure. Yeah, I honestly, I don't even think that the Avenger would be very effective. Simply because, well, it'll have such powerful shields that... Yeah, I'm going to recommend the torpedo sphere. But definitely keep it at long range and have something else in front of it to tank all the damage, because, well, you're going to need to tank the damage. Torpedo spheres are exceptionally expensive. Honestly, maybe torpedo spheres are so expensive that it would even be cheaper for DPS to actually simply just throw ISDs in it or something. Like overcharged ISD2s with their Octupole turbo laser batteries, that would probably do it actually. ISD2s with turbo laser batteries, and a lot of them, would probably be more cost effective than a torpedo sphere. Even though, don't get me wrong, like a volley of like 2 or 3 torpedo spheres, that will just... Ooh. Those shields are not going to last long against that. But then again, they're also not going to last very long against a barrage of like 10 overcharged ISD2s, so... Make your pick and have fun. Make your pick. The meme sphere. I mean, I do like the torpedo sphere. It's expensive as fuck, but they're also very powerful, of course. That's why they're so expensive. Generally, all the things in this mod that are really effective, things like Eclipse, Executor, Torpedo sphere, they're all very fucking expensive. Death Star, of course. About the Eclipse issue, you can only get it in GC by upgrading Palps at Kuat, Fondor, or BS. Yeah, pretty much. Torpedo sphere is awesome against Capital. Yes, pretty much one-shots them. Right, I should check shit in while I'm on the stream. Because that's not... It's not good. You know. They call it a private message for a reason. Or a personal message for a reason. Okay. I should stop babbling. We are babbling a lot, and I do like babbling about mod-related matters a lot. Which these streams always degraded to me talking about random things in the mod. It's always what it turns into. So, but we should make some good progress. This is why I don't live stream most of these things, because they just... I'm more productive when I don't live stream. But I do kind of enjoy it, though. I do enjoy live streaming a lot. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing it, of course. But again, you just get more done, you know, if you don't. Right, we should make that a lot smaller. Like, there. And then, don't constrain that to edge. Okay, how's that? That's why did I change it to Sean Connery there? That's better. Yeah, okay. So, how much more optimized is this? That's always the... Oh wait, I do want these bumps on the sides, because I do think that's pretty good. How do we do that? Small sphere, very small thing, and then put them there. I mean, we could just make them antenna or something. Nah. How about 6? How about no? How about 8? Yes, 8. A little bit of that. No. So that is 55, so we need 110. About there. That's not how you're supposed to do that. It's okay. And now our victory dance. We check the improvement that we have just made in terms of poly count. Probably can't. So this thing was 716. Oh, that's still slightly more than half, but hey, if you can half it, that's pretty good, right? I mean, we could have reduced it further by, you know, using less sides on the spheres. Actually, we definitely could have done that. I'll keep that in mind for the next ones. This one is basically that one, only stretched, and then with a smaller base, and then 2 more thingies on the bottom. Which one would be most useful? That one. Okay, copy that. And delete that. Okay, so you want 1 central column. That means we need a thicker attachment point. And since this is supposed to be a bridge-like structure, people do need to actually be able to move through it, so a little bit thicker. Actually, I mean, that also applies to all this, but fuck it, we'll just keep it. Singular, even. Okay. I do like the cut that they make there. Let's see how that measures up. I was about to say that is actually parallel, right? Yeah, of course it is. It couldn't not be. Why does that not? Weird. Okay, we'll just do it like that. Fuck it, we'll just wing it. So very carefully, everything gets strained to edge, and in the end, just move it manually. It should still align. Yep, that's still pretty good. And then let's have a smaller sphere, or not smaller, but less poly intensive, at the base of that. Not 8, but maybe 10. Probably not 10. How about 90 degrees, my friend? Not 180. 180 doesn't help, because then we just turn it around. Okay, so about that big. See, this is what I should have done for the other one as well. But that's okay, we'll roll with it. Now, what I don't understand is how they expect this to attach. Like, how does that work? That just looks weird. That doesn't seem very structurally sound. But I like the overall design, so we are going to work with it. Let's see. That one or that one? This one. Yep, we were successful. Mission accomplished. Ready? Ready. A little slimmer. A little bit more. Sweet, and that should be fine. Alright, so once we have, well, we're almost done with that one. Oh wait, actually it's supposed to be a little bit thicker, I think. Or lengthier. Okay, we have that. Let's keep up with chat. Oh yeah, you are going to add the Yuuzhan Vong. How's that going? The Vong are a little bit of a special case. They're already in. All the units are done. The textures are done. The models are done. Everything is taken from the Vong Invaders project made by Impremi, which he has so gracefully allowed other mods to use basically all of the content. It was specifically built as an add-on to the game, which can literally be shoved right into like a plug-and-play system, it hooks right into other mods. So of course I took that and then hooked it right into Remake. It's simple as shit. You literally just add the files and boom, you're done. The only thing that still has to happen is that the units are not balanced to the new Remake system. So we have to go over the units and then balance them again. They also have to be rescaled. But once that's done, then they're done. They're finished. Voila. That's it. It's literally like a few, like maybe a week's worth of work. And then they're done. Will they have a world ship that's kind of like the Death Star? No. At least that's not planned right now. Few complaints about Empire Wars. The Starfighter can fly through capital. Well, yeah. I mean, good luck fixing that one. I mean, it's possible to fix that one, but the amount of the ship... No, wait, actually, is it? If that's... It is possible by increasing the lag to absolutely unsustainable levels, to the point where the game freezes, and even then, I don't think you can prevent it in all circumstances. But you can get fairly... Like, I think you can get rid of 85% of collision issues by increasing one setting, but again, it would completely destroy the game with its collision detection. Like, the lag would literally freeze the game. Also concerning starfighters, I get that their scale is correct in reference to the ships. Also concerning starfighters, you get that. You are correct, but sadly they are so small that I can only appreciate them in cinematic view. Yeah? Is there a way to adjust the zoom? Oh yeah. You can. And then one Star Destroyer would take up the entire screen, and good luck playing a strategy game with that zoom level. There's a very good reason that the zoom is as it is right now. And it is actually already zoomed in a little bit further than it needs to be, just so you can appreciate more of the detail. If we were to zoom in further, it would actually hamper your strategic decisions, and it kind of already does, but not as bad as that it would be otherwise, so... Yeah, you can do it, and it's very simple to do. Simply going to tacticalcameras.xml and change the zoom value for space. But again, I would recommend not doing so. Let's not destroy the game. That's an excellent idea. I like that idea. Let's not destroy the game. That's a great life choice. No, oh fuck it. God damn it. God damn it. That doesn't actually look better. Okay. Right, I did want a small cylinder at the base. With an absolute maximum of 10 sides. Honestly, once we're done with this, we can replace the bridges on the templates, and then we can replace the templates on the ship with the templates that we just improved, and then we're done with the template overhaul. And then we can get back to building the ship. Am I? It's getting dark outside, as you can see. Where are we? Fight. Right. Sideways? I mean, that doesn't really help, though. I mean, I guess it makes it a little bit more interesting, but honestly, it's not even that impressive. Oh, but if we place it back, it might. See, now we have something to break up that shape. That is spicy. Remember, guys, variation is the spice of life. And Star Destroyers. Which is why every Star Destroyer uses the same bridge. Well, pretty much all of them do. Okay, how's that? That's pretty good, right? I mean, that could be an elevator shaft or something. Okay, so we have this whole thing attached right now, and then we detach this one, and then we again do our victory dance by checking how much we optimized, or by how much we improved this model. 766. Yeah, no, that's more than half the poly count removed, which is great. Okay, so we already have 3 out of 5, and this one I think is actually a compilation of the others, so this should be very easy. Okay, I must admit, guys, this is making me kind of sleepy, this music. New bridges are coming along nicely. Oh, yes, they are. Now I'm feeling like a little bit of... Is this gonna copyright strike the out of me? It probably is, so I probably shouldn't listen to this. So what is not going to get me copyright struck? All of this is going to get me copyright struck. Witcher 3 soundtrack? Maybe not, but having that on repeat the whole time, you know what? We can listen to that for a little bit. Alright, so, do we use that as a template again? It's not a very large bridge, is it? No, this actually made it worse. This actually made me more sleepy. I shouldn't be complaining about being sleepy. It's very unprofessional. But I'm not a goddamn professional. Well, technically I am getting paid for this, technically. Yeah, but not nearly as much as professional would. That doesn't matter. I get to do my hobby, as my job is, which I like. Besides, otherwise I'd have to do some shitty student job. So I'm happy that I can do this. Now I get to create fucking starships. Woo. Okay, that didn't sound very enthusiastic, but let me tell you, that's a lot better than like Barton. And that one you can take for granted. Take my word on that one. hell is the purpose of that? Okay, well, we're not doing that, so that's dumb as fuck. That is very stupid. Sure, you want a bit more height? A bit more height. Ah, oh shit, not that much more height. Oh no, that also destroys that. No. Shit. Quick, salvage the whole thing. By stretching this. Does that actually... We'll roll with it. Alright, and then we have this thing. Whatever that is. Take that, we move it over there. Watching this, you guys may get a good impression of why exactly it takes so long to build these ships. There's a bit of work involved. A little bit. Just a little. Actually, that might... no. I was thinking that might be an improvement. Turns out, no, it's not. Good music, though. Though it is the same track loop, so it might get repetitive after a while for you guys. So I will switch it up eventually. Switch it up. That is actually... Oh, right, the whole thing doesn't have a... Derp. These mistakes are easy to make. And some of these mistakes even make it past my whole quality assurance thing. Which is where I go over the entire model and look through it to see if I make any mistakes, like that Y-wing thing. So that things like that don't make it in the final model export. But sometimes those things do actually make it in there, and then you're like kicking yourself 3 months down the line once you finally notice. For example, I found another thing on the executive that I missed. I'll show you guys. I know you're not supposed to point out bugs in your own stuff, but sometimes it's just fun that you think, how the hell did I miss that? I'll show you guys one. It's on the executor. You probably wouldn't have noticed unless you're looking for it. If you look very closely at the rear, you can see that this has smoothing groups attached. You see this? The shading here is a little funky. That's because these things have smoothing groups applied to them, which they shouldn't. See that? Now that's a bug that made it past the... that made it past me. Few things do, but, you know, a ship this big, it happens. I don't even know how it should even be able to. I can't recount the amount of times I selected like all the superstructure and just deleted all the smoothing groups. Because it shouldn't have anything. Like it's a collection of boxes. Like there shouldn't be any smoothing groups on it. I have no idea how this happened. Honestly. It's so dumb. Like that should not ever have happened. Like sometimes you in your head go past all the steps that you take to do something and you're like, how is that even possible? Yeah, no, that's okay. I mean, they're still quite poorly intensive, honestly. And especially compared to some of these blisters and the jagged edges that they've got, they could have been a lot more optimized. Oh, sorry guys. My apologies. We have to draw the line somewhere. We draw the line here. I think that's a Star Trek. Never actually seen a Star Trek thing. I've seen those movies, the recent ones they made. Star Trek 1, 2, and 3. 2 was with Benedict Cumberbatch. I kind of enjoyed that one. Third one, kind of meh. Lot of dumb shit, honestly. That just seemed like a bad action movie to me. There are some people that are very hardcore in Star Trek, though. That also apparently don't like those movies. Oh, right. Let's make this separate. So I can actually see it easier. Okay. So what we got here is we got a double sphere. One on the bottom, one on the top. I mean, we're just gonna merge that into a single one, have a little bit of extrusion over there, and have another extrusion over there. Actually, we'll not make that. Yeah, we're gonna make that simple. Increase of 12 for 16 to 17, but decreasing from 16 to 15 saves 20, 40, 44. What? Geometry, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That's impressive. Okay, we're gonna stick with this. See, this is why I couldn't handle university math. Because this sort of shit's making me go, what? Why does increasing it more, which would normally increase the poly count by more, actually be less of an increase than the previous step? That probably has to do with adding like an extra rib or something, where the other step does not add an extra rib. That's probably it, actually. Let's just keep this down to 8. Alright, that's enough of that. Thank you very much. Do we have more? Stuff that we can listen to without getting copyright struck. Probably the Witcher soundtrack. We could put on some Miracle sound. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Only that's not for everyone, so maybe not. What else? That will probably get us copyright struck. Oh shit, we just got a subscription. Holy fuck, with a tier 1 and a Twitch Prime. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even stream that often. Guys, but thank you. Holy shit. Thank you guys. Destiny 1 and 2 soundtrack are pretty great for casual listening. Destiny soundtrack. That's a lot of soundtrack. That's pretty cool. Paul McCartney? What? Isn't that guy from like the Beatles or something? Paul McCartney. For the Beatles, yeah. Like what? Didn't know he worked on video game soundtracks. That's okay. Again, thank you guys for the subscription. Thank you very much. I do need to stream more often. But I can't promise that I will, because I'm actually quite busy with my studies right now. But I will make an attempt. Love the mod, excited to see it completed. Well, thank you very much. Me too, me too. Bridge reconstruction almost complete. Oh yeah, famous kind of legend among fellow shipyards. Have you there and just, yeah. Nah, I'm just stretching out the sphere and you can just see the starship just in real time. Well, the time it takes to wait, well worth it. Your attention to detail is mind-blowing, and I just sit back and watch the space battle play out. Thank you very much. I do appreciate hearing that. I do spend a lot of time on the details. I think they're worth it, personally. That's only a small loops in the Executor. Oh man, the Executor had so many problems with it. I mean, we pretty much, at least I think I pretty much trained them all out at this point. Man, the Death Star also had so many issues. Those are pretty much all gone now, though. But you still keep finding shit like 6 months down the line. It's like, how did that get in there? It's like so stupid. That's why I deleted that Y-Wing. We for everyone that just came in, like we had a Y-Wing model, like super tiny, of course, because compared to all this, it's just like you can't even see it from this. We had one like all over the way over here, and I saw that and I was like, I'm just gonna delete this right now because otherwise we're gonna forget and I'm never gonna see that. And then we're gonna ship the mod and it's all gonna be great. And then 6 months down the line, I'm gonna be in game testing some shit and I'm gonna have that on the screen. I'm like, hang on, what the fuck is that? And then we have this small Y-Wing turning with the Viscount. I'm like, fuck, how did that get in there? Like, I can already see it in my head. Because that's happened so many times in the past with other shit. It's crazy. It's crazy. Right, I didn't finish reading chat. Yep, some songs pick up more and more casual. Yep, that's the Paul McCartney. Yeah, that dude does like everything. It's crazy. Will you ever see Tag's Battle Cruiser? I think I know what that is. Okay, I don't know what that is. If you mean the Praetor 2, I would love to have one. I mean, I love that ship, but I haven't built one. So, maybe, sometime, if someone makes a good model for it. If you mean the Procurator. If you mean that thing, probably not. I don't really like the whole humpback design. I think it's an interesting take on the ship. I just simply don't really like it that much. I'd much rather have this. Personally. I would absolutely love to have this, honestly. Again, you know, you have to. I'll check the PM later, because I can't. Oh, well, fuck it. I'll just click it. You're in? I have the others. Sure. Yeah, thanks. I did get them on YouTube, and if I want to acquire them, I'll be able to do so. But again, we're not going to do that on stream because that's not very smart. I don't have on Patreon, so I thought it would help by summing over there. Well, it's always appreciated. Thank you. He was asked by the Bunch of Music lead Marty O'Donnell to. Doesn't that guy also like wrote like half the Halo soundtrack? Because that is some excellent. Yeah, that's the Halo soundtrack, dude. That dude's fucking great too. I really love your work. Thank you. I do appreciate hearing that. Alright, I will check that out once all these have completed. Well, I mean, we'll probably quit streaming before all that is completed. Do you guys think it would be more elegant to attach that to the thing itself? Nah, it's not needed. What is needed is moving back this vertex to a slightly more manageable position. And then we can delete that. Yes, okay. Man, I do like the Halo soundtrack. Maybe we should put that in there as well. Right, I want the front to be a little bit more subtle. I mean, I did say that, and then I did make it more subtle. How about that? That should be good. Now, it does have the outlines on the original, but I actually think this might be better. Then again, every time I have a hunch like that, it doesn't always work out. We'll roll with it for now, and if it's too bad, then, well, I guess we can always change it later. I do need to spend less time trying stuff and more time building stuff, but I've historically been very bad at that. I like to try different things, and as it turns out, as a model maker, that gets you in a lot of problems, because that takes a lot of time. Did we fuck up? We fucked up. Yeah, that's the right. Just make a new one. We'll just make a new one. Do I have the disk space to be? Yeah, easy. I was wondering. I always record every stream that I do locally, so that I can then upload it to YouTube. But of course, there is the issue that you do need the file space to actually record all that. So, and then we can make that maybe a little bit more pointy than the other one. Actually, we should probably add an additional section to this. We definitely should. Both sides? No, just this. I'd rather have that one over there. To kind of make it slope, you know? And that, right? And over there, and then we can make that slightly smaller. Now nothing is selected, so we must watch out. Always be careful. And that should work. Let's see. Aha, right. I have found an issue. Issue being that. But that's okay. Apparently over here there's just an overhanging bit here, but I don't think that's very structurally correct. I think that's actually just a mistake by the guys who made that model. So we are going to fill that in. With all respect to them, of course. Making mistakes is human. As we have just seen with the fucking executor thing. I make them all the time. Even though I try so hard not to. They just sneak in there. It's unavoidable. It's a sad state of affairs, but it's also reality, so, you know. Best thing to do is just acknowledge them and then fix them. Getting hung up on your mistakes and problems is a surefire way to never do anything again. And that's simply no way to live. Okay, so this is about that height, that one's about there. I mean, we don't have to make such a faithful recreation of this area, however, it is... once you're going for a certain art style, I find it to generally be... Why does that not work? I thought we had the correct heights. Oh, right, we must have messed that up. That's okay. I generally find that when recreating a certain art style, it is beneficial to recreate it as faithfully as possible, because if you don't... It just... It's difficult to describe. There are certain things, like for example, not having this outline on the bottom here. For example, we don't have this section here. For example, once you look at it from the side, this will still look different from this. So even though it is a small change not to have that undersection walk, or at least, you know, run through to the back, it still completely changes the whole feel of the thing. I know that's vague as fuck, but you'll just have to trust me when I say it. Generally, you want a faithful recreation of whatever you're trying to do, so that you don't get those continuity issues. Like, when you look at something, the way your mind processes it and the way that makes you feel when you look at something is very much determined by those small things, those small details. And I'm even considering actually changing it right now, because I do like that shape, which we don't have right now. But we can make it so. And if we make it a little bit more smooth by incorporating it further, which is basically done in this case by making sure these lines flow a little bit better. Then I think we're going to end up with a decent result, which is more poly efficient, but still looks good. I'm still surprised people want to watch this stuff. Like, it's not that... Oh, this music is fucking epic. But it's not all that interesting to, like, watch me, like, move vertices around and go over every little detail of everything. But people seem to enjoy watching it, so I guess I'll continue streaming it. And now for the box area. I wonder how they go. Okay, so basically this is just something to connect the whole thing to the structure. I do like that they didn't make this symmetrical. I might actually take that whole area, because I just like it. And I mean, I could spend like a couple of minutes recreating it, but if it's good, then, well, you know, might as well take it, right? I mean, you can call it lazy modeling, of course, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or something along those lines. Now that I am simply going to change into a bloody sphere. What? No. Box. Delete the smoothing groups, then set them over there, all on the same thing. Make that smaller, then make it smaller further. No, don't use that scaling method, because that will destroy... Well, I'll show you guys. There's different methods on which you can scale things. Like, for example, if we take this and we do this, then we simply increase the width, right? Then we use a different scaling method, and you don't see a lot of change. But then you use another one, and then it is volume based. For example, this is great. It maintains the volume of the object. So, for example, if you scale it down, it starts getting higher. But if you make it down, then it gets to be almost flat, because it has to maintain the volume, which is great until you accidentally do it, and then well, it's all over but the crying. Of course, for added effect, you put it diagonal. Makes it a little less noticeable that it's just a rectangle. It's not majorly important or anything, but hey, every little bit helps. And how is that? Slightly too linear. How about that? That. Too much? Maybe too much. I think this is going to be a real winner. And with that I mean simply because this is so much more poly efficient due to the basic shape. This should really be pretty much less than half. I think we can even get a Get it down to maybe 40, maybe even 30%. Do want to check the antenna width or height though. What's better? Do we like this? Do we like that? I think I like this. Slightly more subtle. Slightly. Sometimes you need those subtle things. Oh, we get a bunch of new people. Guys, welcome to the stream. We are working on the Viscount. There's a bunch of chat. Oh, that thing? No, definitely not gonna have that thing. I think there are a lot more interesting designs out there than this. Personally. Yeah, I kind of agree. This thing have one thing that either battlecruisers lack: 3 shield generators. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'd still make it just 1 hard point, so you're not gonna get a lot of use out of those, trust me. Maybe have like 15% more health, but that's not gonna help it survive another Y-wing flyby. I don't have plans to make a Praetor. However, I did stop making. I did stop taking commissions because I'm basically so busy that I've got so much to finish that well, I simply don't have time for a commission. However, if you really want one, this would definitely be, since this is a battle cruiser. How large is the Praetor 2 anyway? Oh, okay. Anywhere between 5,000 and 8,000. That's large. That's like Bellator size. I might be able to reuse the trench, so that would make it easier. Could I reuse the Executor trench? Maybe not, but maybe the Eclipse trench. I mean, it's basically the same, but there are a couple of subtle differences. If you really want to go ahead with that, then PM me on ModDB and we can talk about it. But that would go above definitely above the 300 range, and that's in euros. So I totally understand if you're not interested in that. And besides, it would be a project that would take several months to complete. Same as with like the Eclipse and the Executor. These are not small or simple things to build. I mean, depending on the complexity, we could of course make it simpler, remove a bunch of detail, make it not so specific, and that would of course reduce the cost by a lot. So if you really want one, we can discuss it. But again, I will warn you that it would be a project that would take a bit longer, and it would get rather expensive. So up to you, up to you. But if you were to go one, I would definitely add it to the mod because I still would like a Praetor. Anyway, back to chat. Hi. Moomdag. Oh my god. Moomdag. Welcome to the stream, man. I'm not sure if I'm your father. If I would be your father, then holy shit, I messed up something. I don't think so. I hoped to have been contacted about that before, but okay. Hi, Jer. Welcome. So if you're serious about walking, kind of in this creative, a lot more people watch it. I mean, we can try to change it. I'm not sure if this works on the fly. What's this? Let's see. Producer dashboard. I think it's dashboard. Let's see. Category. Tags. I guess we could create it. No, that's not a thing. Okay. Category. Create. Isn't creative a thing? Language. Update information. Hang on. Tags. Category. Title. Stream information. It should be here, like. I thought creative was the thing. prefer to have no full detail. Okay, well, maybe we can cut some corners here and there and maybe reuse the Executor Trench. The Praetor does have a very fucking wide trench. Yeah, then again, that's also very thick. Yeah, but we can... And just send me a message on Discord and then I will get back to you on that. Again, there's a bit more involved to it than that. Okay, why does this not work? Why am I messing with the stream? The stream is fine. Well, you know, a little bit of extra publicity, always nice, I guess. Channel. Okay. Game. Forces of Corruption. Okay, so if we go to the whole categories thing, what is that category called? Categories. Just chatting, see the chess player. Talk shows? Well, I mean, at this point, it's basically a talk show, right? But not quite. Not quite. Protocol. Art. Art? Just art? Oh god, Bob Ross, my god. That's still going? I mean, this is pretty epic, though. Art. Can I do that? Can I just tick in art and then go? No? Okay, well. Never mind, I'm not gonna fuck with it right now. Did I just erase chat? For fuck's sake. I'm terribly sorry, guys. I think I just lost chat. I would just like a Praetor 2. I'll talk to you after we finish it. Because I would like to finish this mod first and get to a point. Well, would be waiting for a long time to finish the mod entirely. But it could be part of the mod. So it would take a general consensus from everyone to pitch in a few dollars each. Yeah, that's what we've been doing with a lot of these large projects, with like the Viscount, the Executor, Eclipse. It's all been joint projects. So it's mostly been from 3 major donors and a bunch of people making smaller donations. Okay, I'm terribly sorry for everyone that I just completely erased in chat. Shouldn't have done that, but can I get that back? We are very professional. Can I get chat back? No, I don't think I can. I'm terribly sorry. If you had a question that you want answered, please put it in the chat again, and I will answer the question. For now, though, time to check out the final bridge. $1,100. 500? What the hell on this thing justifies 500? That's insane. Don't tell me it's the section that I took from the other thing. No, it's not. It's still more high poly than it needs to be, but I mean, we'll live with that. I mean, it's still more than a 50% reduction, but I mean, that's still slightly disappointing. Okay, let's see. Overall count. Okay. 34 versus 17. Wow, that's pretty much half. But, I mean, that's good, right? Half, right? Right? Alright. That and then... Whoa. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now what we do is we find the bridges that... Okay, so we have... Oh, right. Delete that so we have smoother everything. So that one... Hang on, let's be smart about this and use separate objects. As I said when I was showing the supremacy before we actually started building the thing, the Viscount, having separate objects for everything is just so useful. It takes a bit of time generally to set it up, but it's so worth it because you just mess with less stuff. Mess with less stuff. Yes. You make fewer mistakes, basically. You make fewer mistakes. Is there a thingy there? Yep. That one. Now the major bridge, which is that one, I actually very rarely use, and I think I only put it on the very top of the ship. And I don't want to use that a lot because that one's very bully intensive. This is some good music. Wait, did we just bloody copy that to something that it wasn't supposed to be copied to? No. I don't think I did. And if we did, then we will notice it once we start angling the bridges correctly. Okay, so that one is there. I thought we had more. We did not. That's okay. And now we take this and raise it so that we can position these properly. Okay. That I will fix in a bit. That was probably at an angle. It wasn't. Wow, none of this is at an angle, except for that one. I mean, we could angle it, I guess. It would make it stick out more. Is that good or is that bad? How did that work on the home one? Yeah, they did kind of angle it, didn't they? Yes. Let's just roll with it. Damn, what is this music? This is epic. I'm fucking saving this in the whole YouTube epic music category because this is pretty good. That's okay. Okay. Now this is of course a remnant of when we deleted all the sideway ribs, or at least the additional ribs that we got rid of. So we simply have to re-angle that, which is a little annoying. It's probably best to do that in local. To avoid issues. Can you get rid of that? Now sadly, aligning this properly does take a little bit of time. But again, it is generally worth to do it properly. So that you don't, for example, don't have that. So. Any issues made while aligning objects can be prevented by doing so carefully. And depending on how much you want to rush it, you can prevent pretty much every issue. I'm also going to turn this to local. When do I have to be at university tomorrow? 8:30, I think. So that is A-OK. for a little while longer, we can stream for a bit more. This is a very poly intensive blister, this thing. It's very small and very packed. And on one hand that looks great, and on the other hand it's very poly intensive. One always has to be careful with that. Speaking of poly... No, we can do that. Okay, so... I did say beforehand that we should check this out again. Should we? I mean, I might just leave it there. Yeah, but that will cause issues later on, so let's just re-triangulate it. Yeah, that's still going to. Okay, we'll just... Don't get lazy now, because we'll regret it later. Happens every time. Simply not worth it. Especially after we went through all the trouble of setting up all these fancy templates and making it easy on ourselves. If we then screw it up at like some point and like decide to get lazy, then that really comes back to bite you in the ass. Because then you eventually sometimes still have to go back and redo a whole bunch of work. Even though you're doing this specifically so that you don't have to do that. Okay, that should be good. But there was another one, and I think it was on the same thing. Yeah, right there. Which probably means that I might just delete that, honestly. Now, because I don't like that thing being there, but, well, I mean, it's already a very high poly blister, let's be honest. And... well, just saves me the trouble of having to do it all manually. It's not so bad once you can just can select a whole bunch of stuff and then move it up and down, but once you start working with sideways angles like this and you're using vertices, which if you select local, you get a very... what? Okay, that magically works. The fuck? Normally this always goes wrong. Okay, so let's select them in a line. Maybe it's only when grouped together. Okay, so now we have these... that's still a line. What? Normally that never happens. Okay, I'm not sure why that's the case, but... guess I won't complain. Anyway, okay, so we have the bridges on. Attach it again. We now have the bridges. Back to view. Okay, so now we have the whole thing again. Right? Did we delete anything else? No, this should be the same amount. So, now the final test. Poly counts. Oh, right. Attach the bridges. 16,500, 16,500, and 10,000. Why does that disappoint me? It disappoints me because I figured we would get more mileage out of this optimization. Maybe it's because of this thing. We did not know it's not because of this thing. What the fuck are you talking about? I was like, my mind is trying to find ways like, maybe it's because of this, maybe it's because of that. Like, trying to find reasons why it would not be as good as I anticipated. And it sometimes comes up with things that I'm like, what? No, that is not the reason. And I haven't checked chat in a while, so sorry guys, I will do that right now. In general, which is stronger after. Just please don't rush it at all, though. No, definitely not. Less than half, though. I also think Praetor 2 makes the most sense. 5 or 6,000 meters. Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't really mind. I mean, I'll go up to 8,000. I kind of like the Praetor in general. I just really bloody like the look of that ship. It's so simple. It's like the very essence of a Star Destroyer. Like, just a triangle. That's it. Nothing fancy. Yeah, just a few things on top, but... the essence of a Star Destroyer. I like it. Praetor 2 with a backpack. Yeah. Yeah, it's still good optimization. It's about 6,500 triangles less. Give me my calculator. Percentages. Let's see. So for reduction, do you do the thing down to the thing, or do you do the thing to the yeah, we'll do the thing through the thing. Nah, I mean that's pretty good. I mean it's a 39% reduction. It's not the 50 that I'd hoped for, but you know, you take your victories and you roll with them. Okay, so current blister count would yeah, I mean it would then, I mean I can just multiply it. What is it, 39%? I mean that's more than half. I mean you can, let's just guesstimate it. 18,000. That's a win. 30 down to 80. 18. Worth it at least. It's been worth it at least. And besides, we've only been at this for 2.5 hours. Well, only been, but you know. Trust me, I've been working a lot longer on some other projects than this, so it's just pretty fast. And getting this much mileage out of this little bit amount of work, that's good. That's excellent. I should grab food sometime. But first I want to get rid of... I mean, I'm not going to reposition all of these small blisters, simply because these are the type of blisters that we could simply just remove. Or not remove. Select the edges and then the vertices and remove them. But what I will do is go over the main blisters and replace them, obviously. Just have to find which ones I used. This one I used there. This is that one, and I think I copied. That is the one with the strange thingy. Okay, I didn't. So. Where's the one with the strange thingy? Must be that. No, that's the main bridge thing. So it's the... Do we even have one with the strange... What? What? That's the 4-pillar base thing. So it is that one. Okay. Tail. I mean, it's not specific. It doesn't necessarily have to be this, but I just want the exact, you know, number at the end of this. Just get that satisfying. Hey, we did it. Well done. Right. This is an instance where the whole local thing is a little fucky. More than a little funky, actually. This is fairly bad. Instead of doing that, we can just detach the elements. Well, I mean, we might just delete them at that point. We'll get to those later. Actually, instead of deleting them entirely, I'm going to do is this. I'm going to move them up so we still have that reference. Because I did make some fairly conscious decisions to angle them sideways, like this. There's a small sideways angle, which if you don't get the sideways angle and you literally align everything parallel, then you don't get that organic wrapping around the whole feeling. If you skip out on that, then you will feel it in the end result. for example, that's... you know what? Let's just do this according to view, because this is going to take ages otherwise. Again, devil's in the details. Might seem like a very small thing that doesn't quite matter, but it will. Right, do we have them? Right, we did sync them in completely. Ah, right, I already tested that whole thing. I don't need to go through that again. Because I already did that the first time around, okay. So it is optimal, at least it looks best to keep them sunk into the hull further. I experimented with keeping them out further, like there, so that you can still see some of the detail and so that it rises up out of the hull more. But I found out that that doesn't actually look better than having them sunk into the hull. So I do try those things quite a lot. That's probably too much rotation. That is indeed too much rotation. Okay. Rotation is too much. And then we probably have to, yes. Is perfect. Excellent. Okay, now for you. You have a bit of a steeper angle to it than the rest, which is okay. We can simulate that. Carefully. Great plastic. Is that good enough? I think that's good enough. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are almost done with the optimization. Almost. Final thing. Is that necessary? Not really. I was thinking maybe remove these things, but, you know, it's not really. It'll help, but we're just going to keep it there, just in case we need to make an adjustment later. And if we remove it now, then we can't add it back in. We'd have to reposition these, so it's prudent to not do so yet. Okay, so these can all fuck right off, and then we simply do this again. This takes a bit, but I mean, there's a wide area spread, but there's not actually that many blisters on here, so this is only going to take a bit. Not sure why I thought that making these blisters all, well, by Poly, was such a good idea. I mean, the ship is massive, and I was probably thinking along the lines of, well, if you watch your fighter fly through this, well, not through this, over this, then you do need some sort of semblance of detail, because you are going to see these jagged edges. If you don't, but honestly, the poly count needs to stay realistic, and that should be the priority, and I didn't keep that in mind. That's probably the lesson to take away from this. To always keep an eye out on the final poly count. When building art assets for games, the ends do not always justify the means. As in, you need to have... Oh, wait, the ends always justify the means, in the sense of you always need a playable art asset by the end of it. If you create something that is too intensive for the game to handle, then you have simply failed, because you will have created a nice piece of art perhaps, but if the game can't handle it, well then, what's the point, right? And I also see a couple of smaller things here. A couple of bridges along the hall. We may have to remove those. I was thinking about replacing them, but honestly, how visible are they? Really? Not very. Right, we were over here. It's quite easy to forget some, but simply keeping track of where you have been will fix that. Let's see. Do we take everything? Do I really want to delete the bridges? I mean, yeah, I mean, come on. They're by far the most poly-intensive thing. Like, I can build, I don't know how many of these blisters, these major ones, the templates, for like a single bridge. So. I'm sorry, bridges. I mean, I do like you, but, you know, poly count, you don't really add that much anyway. And then we remove, and then we make the final pass, which is the faster process. As I said, when we first did this on the templates, selecting the vertices is easier because you don't have to deselect these. You don't have to deselect anything. Once you select the edges, you simply have to select and then declick those, and then you have that selected. But when you select the vertices, you can simply select them and move on to the next. Very simple stuff, but cutting away a, like, 2 steps in like a 3-step process, you know, that kind of speeds it up, obviously. But you wouldn't always think that. You wouldn't always think that. See, this is way faster. And then by the end of it, we should have a pretty damn optimized ship. Well, also because we removed the couple of small bridges along the hull. But so we're kind of cheating a little bit, but that's still good. Okay, we got that, we got that, we got those. So did we deselect all? No, we simply didn't select this area. That should be it, and then we hit remove, and then we save, because, you know, this this program occasionally does crash. Detach, I need you, and I need 2 of you. I think you are both the same. No. No, you're not. I must have made some small edits to these. Right, I took you at least, for the 1, 2, 3, for the 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that one is there. This one is the 1, 2, 3 in a sideways line, which is the 1, 2. That's not a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we took that and then we modified a bit of stuff. That's way too much work, so we're just gonna take this, take another one, probably that one, because it has the larger one, the more visible bridge, and then we take that. Voila. Take that over there. Detach. Easier to just do this. That one has the bridge in the front, which means this is this one. Is it also aligned? Is there like an angle to this? I don't think so. There's a slight angle. There's probably one over here. think I changed something there. I don't know what it was, but it's not really worth the time to figure it out. So just undo and then do it again, and then it's, well, whatever the problem was, it's now gone. So that's just a small thing to save time. Right, so that's why that worked the way it did. Because we need a very, very small... Okay, that's actually very acceptable. Sideways rotation is too much. I kind of anticipated that. Should probably went with that first. That's okay. We can change it now. Okay, so there's a little bit that goes slightly further up. Good. Okay, so now I'm happy with that. Right, those were fixed, right? That looks mostly planar, so that's good. That one has a slight angle. Okay. Perfect, 1.5 degrees. Excellent. And then we take the bridge from that one, and then we add it to that one. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost done with this. So technically, we did not actually add anything to the model today, but what we did is it allows us, or what we did here is going to allow us to... Okay, so how about we place that on there then? What we did today is going to allow us to continue building the ship without having to be afraid that it's going to be completely unusable in the game. Which is of course very necessary, because you know, you want to be able to bloody use the ship in the game. Okay, and well then we just put it down. Oh, it feels so good to almost be done. That's always like the best part. When everything is coming together and it all works. It all works for once, that's so good. The best moment. Let's see. Okay, so these were sunk deep into the hull. Okay. That's okay. I will do that individually for each of them, but... Really? Do you want the sunk? I will have tested just that, okay. So... The fun thing with me is when I build these things, I pretty much try literally every positioning and angle, and like for example have that sunk into the hull but not the other, or just the one and the other with, or something like that. And I'll be testing all that stuff, and I can't always remember everything that I did, but I can remember that this is me, and I will have tested that. And if I did it this way, then I know that that is the optimal way. So, don't ever, by the way, make games like this, because you will never be done. You will never be finished. Right, so there were... Okay. Okay, and then we are right. I probably deleted that one and that one. Actually, on the contrary, I'd like that one to be there still. Just a different position and slightly maybe different angle. No, that's not worth it. Keep it there. Okay. Anything else? No, I think that's it. Okay, so we got this. We got that. This is already detached, so then we take this. We attach that. Voila, we're done. That's it. That is it. Okay. Final count on the whole thing. Down from about 30,000. 29.8 or something. Down to 16.1. That has been worth it. That is good. That feels good, man. .jpg. Alright. I should close the blind sometime. So what's the entire thing up to? The entire hull itself, it's quite poly intensive. It's 17,500 just for the shape, you know, that's quite intensive. But trust me, this could be a lot worse. I tried optimizing this actually, but the point is, the way that I have this whole thing set up with a modifier stack. The original thing, by the way, only looks like this, and then I run it through 1,000 like 1,000 modifiers that I very, very carefully tweaked to get the effect, and then you eventually get this, which is exactly the shape we need. Which surprisingly, it looks very simple. You know, it's just one object. I mean, the base thing is very simple. Oh, remove that so we have more FPS. Very smooth, very simple, and then you just go with, you add one layer of, or you add one modifier, then you add another one on top of that, and then another one on top of that, and then voila, you're done. Seems very simple, but this actually takes a lot of time to set up properly, because you gotta configure all of those to work together. And if you, for example, go edit this one, then it will have effect on all the other ones as well. So, to get it right, it actually takes more time than you would anticipate, especially for an organic ship like this. I mean, when you're creating Star Destroyers, you can kind of, well, you know, it's a triangle. I mean, not that that is necessarily easier, but it's less hassle than this. But now that this is all down, and we have the modified templates, which are good, we can basically populate the whole ship with them, with the blisters, and just start filling in stuff. Yeah, and after that we can start thinking about the engines, all that stuff. Add an ambient engine glow, of course, because I always do that on super ships, because that just looks so good. Yeah. I think I am going to leave it there for today. Well, I'm not sure how exciting that was to watch. Not very, probably. And technically, we didn't actually add anything to the ship, but this has been so worth it. Guaranteed. Absolutely. Optimization, things like this, is absolutely wonderful. It is so needed. It's pretty good, too. The ship's gonna be fucking massive. Like, seriously. Like, really fucking massive. Like, you sometimes see screenshots of, like, the Eclipse being slightly angled to the battlefield, and there's, like, just a line of, like, small destroyers along here or something, and then there's just a massive Eclipse. This thing's even wider. Or, well, it is wider and it's higher. So you can imagine how this thing's gonna be. It's gonna be insane. Anyway, I'm gonna do, gonna re-chat and answer any questions that you guys might have, and then I will, of course, thank you for watching, and do the outro. But first, take up the chat. Yes, I did. I actually checked if that took up most of the poly counts. It didn't, actually. And I could spend a little bit of time redoing that small section that I copied, but that wouldn't actually save any polys. Well, a few, but not enough to justify the time. Even though you said that you won't do any more before, I still believe you should add visible turrets to Home 1 and other Moncal cruisers due to consistency. No, that's definitely not going to work. Reason being, for example, I even want to remove them from the Moncal 80 because they look like shit there. It simply breaks up the whole feeling of the ship. For example, this is a very... Let me open up the actual model in the A. It's better visible there than 3ds Max, because now you have the texture and the correct rendering attached. Get rid of you guys, and you close can stay, of course. The point with this is that it looks very sleek. It's very... It's got a specific aesthetic, which if you start breaking it up with something, like for example adding turrets, that breaks up the aesthetic. And I don't think that's actually going to add anything to the game. In fact, I've been moving away from turrets because most of the turrets that I use in the remake mod are actually way too large. They're actually significantly way too large, but you know, they have to be visible. So, because otherwise there's no point to having them. So they're still there, but they're simply way too big. The Venator turrets are actually some of the largest that you can actually find in Star Wars in general. And those are still quite large, of course. They're clearly visible, and that's it. Bob's your uncle. But on a ship like a Mon Cal cruiser, if you look at how large the turrets are actually, the turrets would actually be in terms of like Star Wars, they'd be pretty damn small. In fact, they'd be maybe 25% of what they are on the Mon Cal cruiser, and that is very fucking small. So if we were to actually make them to size, if I were to do them as well as they should be done, they would be almost invisible, and that is without, no, that's with the turrets. So at that point, if you want to do them well, you may as well remove them. But you know, I used to figure way back when, you know, having turrets is fancy. It increases realism, it looks better, makes it a little bit more dynamic, so let's just force them onto every ship that can have them. And that's what they did. And I still regret it to this day, because it not only drains performance on the game, by a little bit, not that much, but a little bit, but it also looks bad. And I think on ships like the Mon Cal 80, it is a good example of why it's not good. The Lucrehulk is another example of turrets done terribly. I can actually go through the list real quick. What are some of the Victory used to have turrets? Those were so bad that even back in the day I removed them. Damn, those were bad. I actually like them on the Procrussator. I think they're well done there. Annihilator, that's kind of okay. The Allegiance, yeah. Do I still have the Valiant files in here? Really? Wow. Should remove those. Not sure why I didn't. Cadell Bay doesn't really need them. Any other examples of poorly done turrets? On the Subjugator, I think they're done fairly well. I could use some size variations, but I didn't want to build new turrets for it, so I didn't. Munificent doesn't have turrets. Providence doesn't have... That's a great example. The Providence and the Munificent both do not have moving turrets, and I actually think that the ships look better because of it. And I think if I were to restart the mod from scratch, if we went back like a couple years and we redid the mod, I would do it without turrets. I still say with well, Lord. Or maybe, I mean, you can always edit the name file, of course. So about K-Wing, oh my god, hell no. I mean, the amount of OP that would be. I mean, maybe if we reach the stretch goal on Patreon and we make the mod multi-area, maybe I would consider having a K-Wing as like a super hyper expensive like giga gunship thing. But you have to realize that that thing is so incredibly overpowered that is just... Well, it's not... I was about to say literally break the game. It might not literally break the game, but it would be some of the most OP shit you've seen in the mod. And I do very much try to keep things balanced. Because I think a balanced game is a better game. Not necessarily a fun game, but a better game. The core of what you need to build a fun game is a balanced game. More bridges, cause more bridges are cooler. Ground overhaul, I'd have to really sit down for that one. I still have to code all the weapons and put in particles, put in fancy special effects, all that stuff. Once we're done with space, if we ever are done with space, we'll get to the ground overhaul. Will there be blisters on the bottom? Definitely. Will there be weapons on the bottom? That's a different story, but definitely blisters. It's kind of the same with the Executor, if we can bring that up again real quick. Right, of course. If we open this up real quick, and then we... Oh, I'm in full screen, and then we go to the bottom. The Executor has turrets on the bottom. It has them, for example, here in the hangar. It has them... It has actually quite a few here at the engine section. There's like turrets here everywhere. Well, not turrets, but hardpoint, you know, towers. I didn't actually make them moving. And it even has bones for these weapons. Like, I could attach weapons to these, but I didn't, because, quite frankly, it has plenty of firepower. Like, this whole area, like, this is a lot of fucking firepower. What the hell is all this? Oh no. Did I... fuck? Okay. Finding issues with work months down the line. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen it here live. Okay, well... That's... Fuck. Okay, so yeah, there's also a ton of weapons on the bottom of this, or well, points with which to attach weapons, but I haven't done it because I think the ship already has enough firepower. It doesn't need more hard points. In fact, ideally it have less hard points. Yeah, it just doesn't need them, honestly. And it mostly can already fire. The only reason you want these weapons active is if you want to fire to the rear and on the bottom. And the ship can already fire on the rear, on the top. And everything basically, the way I set up the fire arcs is, it's basically aligned with the armor. So everything in like this line can be fired upon. Anything at the very edge here can't be fired upon unless we make these weapons active. But then again, everything on this area right here can also be fired upon. So it really doesn't need them. And since the ship can rotate vertically or just turn, it doesn't need them. Yeah, it's just a very complicated way of saying it doesn't need them. Probably the same with the Viscount. But again, we'll see. I'll see once I get there. We're not there yet. I like to do one thing at a time, so that I can completely focus on one thing. Had a blast watching? I'm happy to hear it. This is some fucking music, man. I love the soundtrack. This is good. I'm gonna keep this soundtrack. And overall, such diversity too. You know what you mean? Whole thing? You can make a YouTube video just saying your plans for God. Maybe. I mean, there do seem to be quite a few people that are interested in it. So. Do actually work well with Star Destroyers and Imperial designs. Yeah, but I mean, for example, Fractal Sponge's design have turrets blasted all over them. So yeah, obviously that works. Because if you don't make them rotating, you get a situation like Thrawn's Revenge, where you got visible turrets that don't rotate. That doesn't look good, I think. Of course, I do understand why they have them, because code-wise and gameplay-wise, it's actually way better to have non-rotating turrets, because you don't have to make every turret targetable. So for example, on the Allegiance, with that row of like 6 turrets on each side, you don't have to have 6 individual hardpoints, but you can have like maybe 1 for all of them, or 2 for all of them, which plays better. It may not look better, but it plays better. That's the trade-off Thrawn's Revenge makes. I make the trade-off to have more turrets on Imperial designs, maybe plays a bit wonkier, but it looks better, which is what I go for. Whole visual fidelity thing, that's what the remake mod does. That's what I wanted to do. That's the decision I made, and well, it's just personal preference at that point. Okay, I gotta run. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for watching, man. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Yeah, and that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are basically done for this day. Viscount. This is what we have right now. Doesn't look very different, but the Polycount definitely tells a very different story. And this has been very worthwhile what we did here today. I can basically remove this right now because we no longer need it. And ladies and gentlemen, then I will thank you for watching. I hope you will join me for the next stream, whenever that might happen. Again, may take a while, because I do most building off stream. I'll try to stream a little bit more in the future. But for now, again, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.